The thing about documenting every single game in a system library is that sometimes you get games with very complicated mechanics, or ones that have deep but rarely talked about historical connections, and then sometimes you get a generic sports game. I tried to find something cool about Final Match Tennis, but this is definitely a situation where everyone just says, yeah, that's a game that exists. Here's the one unique feature I could identify in Final Match Tennis: a practice mode where you can configure the ball machine to serve you the way that you want. Want to practice a particular move? Well, there you go. The other two game modes are an exhibition match, or you could play a tournament. Exhibition matches are the only way that you can play doubles, and up to 4 players can take part. You can also be partnered up with a computer player, which makes it possible to play doubles if you don't have somebody handy. The exhibition match gives you a choice of hard surface, grass, or clay, while in the tournament you just have to take what they give you. You have a choice of players, but they're all generic names, not really representing any particular tennis pro. At least they have slightly different abilities. Something that you'll notice is that there are no women to choose from. You may not play mixed doubles here. On the court, Final Match Tennis works pretty well. There is a quirk of the controls that if you are running and hit button 1 or 2, then you do a diving swing with your racket, but it won't take you long to get used to releasing the D-pad before you take your normal swing. I also noticed that Final Court Tennis is very generous about the timing for when you hit the ball. You can swing pretty early and it'll still count as connecting. In fact, sometimes the ball doesn't even come close to you and it still bounces back. Beyond that, Final Match Tennis is a tennis game. It works the same as other tennis games, where you're standing, if you've been moving, how well timed your swing is, and the strength of your swing, which vary with button 1 and button 2, all combine to determine where the ball goes when you hit it. It works just like any other tennis game of the period. Final Match Tennis was at least well regarded enough at the time that it got some sequels. Probably the most interesting is one that's going to come up in this series, where it was one of several games included in the Human Sports Festival compilation. It has a Final Match Tennis Women, which of course has an all-women roster. There's also sequels on the Super Famicom and PlayStation, so this was far from the final match. While I wouldn't say Final Match Tennis is well remembered, it is a sports game after all. The Japanese players who do remember it are rather fond of it. I even found a couple saying that it was the best tennis game on the PC Engine. Now personally, I'd rather play Namco's World Court Tennis, but if all you had was Final Match Tennis, there's nothing wrong with it. Its biggest problem is that from the perspective of almost 30 years later, it's just not that exciting. It's a sports game that does what it's supposed to with pretty much no frills. The kind of game that existed to fill a vacant spot in the market in 1991 and did that job perfectly well, but doesn't really have anything else going for it. Final Match Tennis is a tennis game, and there isn't that much more to say about it.